This is the Live Well and Thrive podcast, hosted by Michael Torsha, health and wellness expert. It's time to shape up, America.
Hi, this is Mike Torsha, and welcome to Live Well and Thrive. I have a very special guest, Athena Vas. You probably have seen her on Bachelor. She won the 2020 episode. But most of all, she has this book called Fuck It. I love it. And it gives you inspiration, because if you really have dreams that you want to come true, she'll tell you how to start on that journey to succeed your dreams. So, Athena, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. This is so exciting.
I'm so excited for you to be here. So tell us a little bit about the book.
Sure. It's about realizing that your biggest setbacks in your life were actually your biggest blessing, and to just say F it and move on.
Wow, because a lot of people hold it in, right? Rent space in their brain and never get over it, and they can't see the next step.
Rent is expensive. Why live rent-free in your mind? Forget about it.
That's for sure. You know, I couldn't get over the fact that you're not only a brilliant writer and such an intelligent woman, you're a mathematician, correct?
I am. And not many people know that.
No, it's amazing. I mean, you were telling me how you have this program that you work with prisoners to teach them math so they can learn when they get out of prison to be able to have a business.
Yes.
And how essential it is. And when someone sees someone like you that's absolutely stunning and has done all these other things on TV and film and writing your book, but you're brilliant, you're down to earth, you're not scattered, and you don't have this ego where you make people feel intimidated. You're reachable. People will approach you. I saw you, in fact, I saw you on Labor Day at the Joe Wheatley's Labor Day weekend Muscle Beach competition. And I turned around, there you are, and you're like, hey, I'm competing in the vintage division. And you just decided to jump in and do it that day because you were at the gym, correct?
I know. I was at the gym. I was in Gold's Venice, and I live all the way in Hollywood. So everyone thinks I'm nuts spending hours driving all the way to Venice, 2, 3, 4-hour workout, then another hour back. But there's nothing like training at Gold's Venice because the energy there is amazing. And they told me about the competition. There's a student with special needs who... not student, but for me, I also teach special needs kids. So when they said the first Down syndrome student, Kyle, from Canada, from Toronto, is going to go compete, I said, I have to go and support him. So I was like, I'm going to go support, but I don't want to be late. I got to bang this workout in. And they're like, oh, it's at 9 a.m. And I was like, 9 a.m.? And I rushed over there, and they were like, oh, it doesn't start till much later. And there's also vintage division. I was like, vintage? I'm like, wait a minute, I have the exact outfit.
You haven't had the outfit in your car?
No, I had to go all the way back home.
Oh my God.
I was like, I can do it. I slapped on a tan really, really quickly, and then slapped on some makeup, and bada bing, bada boom, I was there.
I was blown away because you looked like this incredible, perfect little vintage model, like a doll, you know, that came alive. And you had this big, bright smile, you know, and your hair flowing. And I was like, wow. And the other competitors, in my eyes, couldn't touch you. And they trained for this. But you maintain this incredible condition all year round. I have such great respect for you for that.
Thank you so much, Mike. And you as well. Forget about it. You're one of the legends in Gold's Venice yourself. You've been here.
Well, I appreciate that. Well, when I was a kid and I first came out, I met Arnold Schwarzenegger and Franco Columbu and all these great champions. And they said, hey, kid, you want to build big muscles? Come over here. And they let me work in with them. And here, they're Mr. Universe, Mr. America, Mr. Olympia. And they treated me like an equal. And that's what I love about goals. You go in there, it's Switzerland. I don't care what race, what religion. Everybody works together with the same goal in mind, improving their quality of life.
That's exactly why I love working out there, because of the community that it gives you. I feel like I'm a part of a home. Everyone accepts me for exactly who I am. And everyone there, you can be next to someone that's very well known, and they're all the same, whether you're poor or rich, whatever you are. Everyone is equal at Gold's, and everyone just hypes everyone else up and like, yeah, you could do more weight. That's good. Or that was, it's such a nice feeling to be so loved for exactly who you are.
Yeah, well, that's why I was gravitated to the bodybuilding community because I was like 14 years old. I was obese. I was like 50 pounds
Yeah.
overweight. And I was alienated, made fun of all the time. But when I walked into this bodybuilding gym in White Plains, New York, in a YMCA, I felt like I was part of the tribe.
Wow.
They welcomed me, and they poked me in the stomach. This one guy pokes me in the stomach. I'll never forget his name, Frank Macello. He says, you know, you got great genetics, kid, but you got to watch what you eat. You are what you eat. You are a human garbage pail. So he told me, he goes, I'm going to give you some homework. We're going to do a great workout today, but you have to do the nutrition part. So he goes, when you go home tomorrow, I want you to put a little bit of every meal you have in a little bucket, like the bucket your mom mops the floor with. So, of course, that next day I had bacon and eggs and pancakes, and I put some in the bucket. Then I brought home half a meatball wedges and 2 Twinkies, put it in there, in my soda that I had at lunch. And then at night, my mother made pork chops and mashed potatoes with ground gravy, and I put in there. And then my father goes, at the dinner table, goes, what are you doing? I said, the coach told me I have to put in all the food I eat all day, and he wants me to bring it to the gym to show him tomorrow. He goes, take the bucket, put it on the porch, because if the dog eats it, he's going to die. Now, here's the Italian, knows nothing about nutrition, but he looked into the bucket. So when I brought that bucket the next day to the gym at the Y, what did that look like? Yeah, I told him what my father said. Exactly. You're a human garbage pail, so stop it, because someday you'll be a champion bodybuilder. And sure enough, I followed his direction. But he gave me that start, a little bit of hope and inspiration went a long way.
Wow.
And that's what I love about you and your book,
Thank
because you're
you.
giving that guidance, the steps, the simple steps. Look at you. You go into a gym, you're not even preparing for a show. All of a sudden, you go there, you're jumping, but that shows how your techniques work.
Yes, yes.
And why people are so drawn to you.
Thank you. I really believe in the power of the universe and everything aligning exactly how it's meant to. And that's how I live my life. If you live your life worrying about what can be or what if, oh no, you're living in fear and you're living in terror, you're never going to have anything that you want. So I look at signs. For example, that day, what are the odds? I just did an entire photo shoot, vintage, the day before, and I had all of the exact items that I needed for that day on Monday. I said, this is too much of a coincidence. I have to follow that. So since I changed that mindset of mine, because in the past I was never like that. This is very new for me within the last couple of years, where I was very one way only. I only want to live in New York. I only want to do exactly how I've been told to do by my parents, and the safe route. The safe route will kill you, and it will never allow you to achieve your dreams.
Well, when you were a young girl, what were your hopes and dreams? Did you dream of being an actress or a pilot or what? What would you want when you were a little girl?
When I was a little girl, there were so many things I wanted to do. So many. One of them, I wanted to be a decoy, because my mom was a detective. So I'm like, okay, I love to act, because I always performed in the theater, and I was a competitive figure skater growing up. So I said, okay, I can do the two. I can do my real job, like the parents call your 9 to 5, and then I can have like a way to act and then catch the criminals. This will be good. But then I had other things in mind, and I was voted in my yearbook Broadway bound. And it happened. I performed off-Broadway for many years.
So you had formal training
Yes.
on Broadway. Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, that's the basic fundamentals.
Yes.
Every actor that were A-list actors that I've worked with, getting them ready for movies, always said that you need to go into Broadway, New York, or here in LA, in theater, and experience that. That'll establish your foundation, your base for when you want to pursue film and television. And that's the best education. Because you're like a family when you're...
Oh, it's so true. And the thing with me is that I never belonged with my other peers in school. You can tell that I was always different, and I always fit in more with the theater kids or the kids who are creating. I'm dying to create. That's all I've ever wanted to do from a child, was just to create and make something cool. And I've been making things from a kid, whether it's physical things, or I remember taking my mom's camcorder and having my group of friends come together, and we made a little film. We redid who are those 3 guys? I forget their name. Charlie Chaplin.
Oh, wow.
and I did it in black and white, and I took a pot and a pan. I said, all right, you're going to hit me over the head with this? And then I told my other friend, okay, here's an aluminum foil pan. We're going to spray paint. We're going to make a fake little pie. We're going to put some whipped cream in here. You're going to throw it in my face.
You know, that reminds me of the Three Stooges, Laurel and Hardy.
That's it. Yo, Three Stooges.
Right?
That's it.
They were great, and it was like slapstick but fun. And all you would do is laugh, and they're doing fun things, you know. And because when I grew up, that was I think it was East Side Boys, you know, and Little Rascals. All these.
Oh my God, Alfalfa.
Right? Oh.
Yes, that's so cute.
And it was just. I remember you brought this up, is how I would feel watching it.
Mm-hmm.
People just having fun. Nobody cared what color,
No.
what religion.
No,
They were
none of
just
that
hanging out.
matters.
No.
You just love someone exactly for who they are. It doesn't matter where they come from.
Yeah, no, it's great. So do you feel you are more like your mom or dad or maybe your grandmother or somebody?
Oh, man.
What-
My
what-
mom used to say I took a little bit of everyone, but I would say that I'm my mom's little mini-me, you know? I took the dancing part because I loved it, Greek dance. I took that from my grandma. And then I took my mom's personality, but before my mom passed away, she told me, she says, you know, I was very strong growing up, but she's like, you're pretty damn strong, Athena. She's like, I don't know how you can withstand everything that you've been through, because I watched my mom, you know, it was really difficult the last couple of years of her life. And people would describe me as being thrown into the middle of the ocean with no life jacket.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you. Thank you.
So,
That's why I want to help people.
no, I love it. So your name, Athena,
Yes.
like the Greek goddess. I mean, was it your mom or your dad's idea? How did it come up?
No, my mom heard it at a party one day, and she's like, I like this name. I'm like, but nobody in the family has this name. I'm gonna start this new tradition. So when I was born, right before I was born, my mom fell asleep during labor while she was in the middle of writing the name card down. And she had 3 names to choose from. And then Athena was first, and then the 2 middle names were second and third, and then they took it away. So then it just stuck. And those are my
Wow,
names.
it was meant to be.
I know. Athena, Thea, Soteria.
I love your accent there.
Thank you.
I'm a sucker for accents. So the book, when did that come into your head that I need to write this book?
Oh, gosh. So I accidentally get into these conversations with strangers. You know, I'll be sitting on a plane. Someone will sit next to me and just start a conversation with me. I'll be sitting eating my food alone. I like to eat out a lot alone by myself. And then people will be like, why are you alone? And then we have a whole conversation.
Sure.
So every time I get caught into these conversations, that people end up tearing by the time I'm done with my sentence. And they say, oh my God, you just brought a whole new perspective that I never thought. Thank you so much. Thank you. You changed my life. This is so new for me. Thank you. So that has happened at least 3 times a week, at least minimum. So I'm like, I have to put this into a book to be able to motivate and just put my words down on paper for someone to read. And the way I wrote this book is I don't consider myself an intellectual author where I put all this, you know, science and jargon to back things up. I'm like, I'm going to talk to you like I'm your best friend. Not the best friend that bails you out of jail, the best friend that's sitting next to you who committed the crime together.
Right. Your partner in crime.
Exactly. So I just talk straight up in there with my New York voice, and people say when they read it, they actually hear me. Like, I'm talking to them. You got to get your life straight. Doesn't matter if you broke up with that person. That was your blessing. Your new person's waiting for you, and you had to break up with that other person so you can experience what love is really like.
Yeah, no, it's so true. You know, I remember that my uncle told me that saying that once you lose sight of that island, which is a past relationship, that's when you could truly find a new place, a new home. Because if you keep keeping that mindset about, oh, they did this, I did that, what if I change that? You never let go and move on to the future, the present. And I remember he was always adamant, be in the now. Don't think about what you did, it's over, you can't change it, and what you're going to do tomorrow. Think about what you're doing right now. And it's so funny, these Italians, we'd sit out on the patio on Sunday nights, eating cherries and drinking espressos. And I'd listen to my uncles and my father share all these stories and words of wisdom about life. And that's what you remind me of when I would sit out on the patio and eat the cherries. It's the way you just described.
Wow.
your way of helping and giving back to
Yes.
people. You know, it's beautiful.
Absolutely. My life is nowhere near what it is now. I did a whole 360. I was down in the dumps. I
So
can't
you
even
just
tell
wake
you.
up one day and said, I got to change it?
There was a few instances that happened, and where I was so fed up, I said, that's it. I will no longer tolerate being mistreated. I will no longer tolerate this life. I will only accept good people in my life, and I will only do what makes me happy. From that moment, I began to live because I stopped caring what everybody else thought. So I'm going to go after everything I ever wanted, and I don't give a shit what anybody thinks. It's my life.
Well, you know, that's beautiful because I know a lot of young actors. I would see their face and they would tell me about their going for an audition. And then I'd get together with them later and I'd say, well, how'd it go? Not good. They didn't call me back. And you look like the life was sucked out of them. But the day before when they tell me about it, they're bouncing off the walls, so positive, full of energy, invincible. And then all of a sudden, no, they didn't call me back. And I just hope, and I want you to meet these people because you got to let them know that you're going to deal with rejection on a daily basis, right?
200.
And you got to accept, hey, it has nothing to do with looks or my acting. Maybe they wanted a different hair color. Maybe someone's shorter or taller, whatever it is. And it's also subjective. You know, a lot of these casting directors, they kind of choose their favorites too.
But you know what? Everything happens exactly as it's meant to. And once you learn that and accept that, then you'll understand that your actual blessing is right there in front of you. It's right there. You just have to allow it to come in.
You know, this is something I think actors should have a class for. Preparing for the psychological and emotional effects of when you go for auditions. And a lot of times, of course, the acting coaches will go through the message, shifting gears and cold reading and every step, but not the psychological preparation for getting into this business. Because I see, like I said, confident people that shrivel up to
Well-
spineless jellyfish because they got rejected just by a casting director that, who are they?
Well, here's the thing. It goes back to rejection in any aspect of your life. Whether you're rejected because a job didn't take you, you weren't accepted into the university that you wanted. Rejection happens all across the board. But what I say in the book is, did you die though? Did you die? Is it that bad? Because there's nothing worse than death. And when I experienced the loss of my mom and seeing how her life was taken in the blink of an eye, I'm like, nothing else matters. All that matters is that you're alive and you're kicking and you're healthy, and don't waste a single day of your life. Do whatever the hell you want to do. Who gives a shit about anybody else? If they didn't like you, they didn't appreciate you, they didn't see your talent, somebody else will.
That's so true. And, you know, these words are really resonating in my mind because I went through this many, many years ago when I was an overweight kid, made fun of. And that one day when I walked into that YMCA at 14, it just clicked. And I morphed into a more confident and secure individual where I didn't give a shit what anybody thought. All I know was this is what I'm going to do right now, and I have goals, and I planned it. And what I liked when we were chatting the other day, you are using your mathematical skills towards
Yeah.
figuring out a formula
Correct.
for success.
Absolutely.
Why don't you share what we talked about with Arnold and some of these others?
Absolutely.
I'd love for people to know this.
Absolutely. So everyone says it's not how it used to be. It's hard to break in any industry. There's so much competition. Be the damn competition. You don't knock on a door for opportunity. You build your own door. So that's what I'm working on doing. And I'm trying to just create and do what I love, because if I'm not creating, I'm dying. So I'm putting out there exactly who I am, exactly what I want to do, and let the world paint my canvas. Tell me what you like, and I'll keep creating more of it. So I use math, for example. I can get any student to go from a 30 average to over a 95 in a few short times with meeting with me. I take every exam ever asked, for example, the SATs. If a kid doesn't do so well on the SATs, they come see me. And I take every exam ever administered. I'll even go as far as to go back to the archives, and I'll cut up every single little question, and I'll paste them all together and see which one matches, almost like a puzzle. So I look at, okay, these last 100 questions all look like this. And then I calculate the probability and the odds of it appearing again on the next exam. And like every third test, they ask an equation with something, quadratics, right? And then every fourth exam, they'll ask this. So then I look at the same with Hollywood and with the things that I want to do. I'm like, okay, Arnold made it like this. Sylvester Stallone made it like this. Tony Danza made it like that. And then like, okay, I see my portal, I see my little door that I'm going to build. And I try all these little things and just put myself out there and I see what happens. You know, all you need is your end goal. As long as you have your end goal and you're on the right path, it doesn't matter. You don't need an exact strategy or an exact plan. You're just trying your best and doing what you love, and it will all come together if you truly believe it and you never stop.
Wow. You know, you remind me of Arnold, by the way. When I was a young man, I would go to all the Mr. Olympias, and there was the last one that he did in Madison Square Garden. And he goes, come on, let's get a bite to eat. And I was with all the other champions, and we're sitting at this restaurant, and Arnold was next to me, and I turned to him. I said, well, what's next? And he goes, good question. Hollywood. I was the greatest bodybuilder in the world, and now I'll be the greatest action hero on the TV and film. So I'm conquering Hollywood. And that's all he had in his head. He won the Olympia, which is the highest title you could win in bodybuilding. I said, now it's Hollywood. And he did exactly what you said. He focused on what my goal is. And he became one of the most successful action stars in film and now also TV. He had that goal. He created that roadmap. And he is also a very brilliant a brilliant person in general. I mean, he became a millionaire before he even acted in one movie. He would buy real estate.
I was going to say that. Not everyone knows that.
No, there was so funny. There was this little Jewish accountant guy. And when we would be training at goals, he said, Arnold, buy real estate. Because you can take this money and you'll be like these pro athletes and spend it and have nothing. Wake up one day, buy real estate. It's for the future. So he would tell Arnold after you win that show, I'm going to show you some property you should buy. So Arnold would start buying up all of that Rose over there, the clown on that building there. He owns that whole block.
Wow.
Where the fish company, all that, he owns all that. And then he bought other parts of California and other states now. But he accumulated his wealth through his real estate.
Yes.
And that's how he became so wealthy. He made good money with the movies, but nothing like he made with real estate. But again, he had that plan. He was so focused, laser focused, like you are. And I like how you're using these mathematical formulas to use comparisons on how to approach it, because I'm confident you are going to succeed.
Thank you very much.
Really, I mean, and then also, I'm sure a lot of the viewers want to know, what was it like to be on The Bachelor?
Oof, forget about it. Torture. Torture. Oy. I'm going to say something, all right? 25 girls living in one bathroom and everybody get their period once a month for 6 months. It's crazy. Crazy town.
Wow.
It's pretty nuts. But I always, so this actually changed my life. This is how I got here, actually, because that happened after my mom died, where I got scouted to be on the show. And then they take everything away from you. So they told me it was only going to be 3 months on this show, but it ended up being 6 months. And once you go into the show, no phone, no TV, you can't know what time it is, you can't communicate with the outside world, you don't leave the villa. Only once a week you leave the villa, so you're inside of the home for so many hours, and you can't sleep until the nighttime when the other girls come back from their rendezvous. So you're there for hours and hours and hours, and half the time you don't even really have food. These other bitches were eating all day, and they took all my food. So I was starving my ass off.
You know, when you watch it, they look like it's one big party for everybody.
Oh, that's what they want you to think.
So how did you end up kicking all those asses and become number one?
Easy. I was myself, and I wasn't a bitch. Everybody's all screaming at each other, blah, 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 and pulling each other's hair, and I'm just like sitting there like, damn, bro, it's not that serious. Like, I'm always making a joke and trying to just live my life and look at the bright side. So how I was happy every day, I would go outside on the balcony because you weren't allowed to leave your room. So I'd go to the balcony like Juliet, and I would look out into the sky and the palm trees and the clouds, and I would say, I am so grateful to be alive today. This may be difficult, but there's people in worse situations than me. I get to breathe my own air. There's people in the hospital who have trachs in their throat who can't even breathe their own air. I'm blessed to even be alive. I'm blessed for this opportunity. Don't complain.
Wow. Well, that sacrifice you knew was worth it because it gave you a springboard for your career,
yeah.
correct?
Yeah, well, I gotta tell you, I really like to eat food, and I really like steak. And I did not have any filet mignon. I didn't have no tomahawks. I didn't have no juicy baby lamb chops. And all day long, these girls are overeating. By the time I was slow, by the time I got to the kitchen, all the food was gone. So I was so desperate for food, I had to go steal the girl's chicken that she already ate. And then when I was about to get caught, I had to throw it in my luggage real quick so she wouldn't catch me. Forget about it. I got so many stories.
Well, that's what I love about you. You're media like me.
Yeah.
Like we had the filet mignon the other night.
Oh,
was
forget
great.
about it. I love
No,
filet
but it's
mignon.
nice because, sometimes you go out with a friend, and especially a lot of the women today, they're vegans. And they
No
order
disrespect. You can do whatever you want to do.
Yeah,
I'm from
but,
New York.
But to me, I'll never forget when I was a kid, I ordered a salad, and Arnold got mad at me. He says, it's rabbit food. It's no nutrients. Broccoli, spinach, asparagus, Brussels sprouts, greens, salad, rabbits, no muscle. But it's true. Unless you put, like my father said, a happy salad, then you're putting peppers and cucumbers and other, mixed greens to give it more fiber. Otherwise, it's just some roughage. I'd rather have like grilled onions and mushrooms with a nice, beautiful filet mignon,
Oh yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
And to me, I'm a happy camper. But it's rare to see a woman that actually likes, especially today, because it almost seems like it's in to be a vegan or vegetarian.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, they hop on the bandwagon of people who are inspirational to them. So that's a very big goal of mine, is to be able to inspire the world, because I know that when more people know who I am and they hear my story and they hear my motivation, they're going to be inspired to do whatever they want to do. And maybe their life can change when most of the world is unhappy, because why? They're doing what they don't want to do and they're miserable.
Like drones, just doing the same thing over and over and over.
Yes.
After our conversation the other week, I thought of a way to be able to have you and 24/7 available for everybody around the world. By what I had done was I created an AI mic, a digital twin of me.
So cool.
It sounds just like me. You can ask it questions. It's your confidant, your coach, your nutritionist, your chef. It gives you recipes, gives you guidelines how to follow, gives you advice about what supplements are good for you, what protein powders would be better, and so on. When you should do your cardio, when you should do the weights. Tells you about stretching. What do you think about intermittent fasting? You can ask it any kind of those questions, because I wrote 3 books that I haven't published yet, and I gave it the manuscripts. It fed into the brain of this AI. So I was thinking we do an AI Athena. Now, here's the good thing about it is it's able to answer questions in 30 different languages.
No way.
And it's simple. You have a chat bot where you can type in and it talks to you and you see your picture. Or you have a phone number where you can call it 24/7. As soon as it hears, say you're talking in Farsi or Mandarin, it'll respond in that language. But if you say, hey, AI Athena, can you please answer this in Italian or Spanish? It'll give you the answers in that language. So that means around the world you can help everybody. And that could end up being like a subscription model. So when people sign up, they can have access to you 24/7, right?
That is so cool,
So
Mike.
what I want to show you is I'm going to call my AI mic.
Okay.
And you could ask it a question. And you could see how this would be exactly what you can have for yourself to be helping all these viewers that want to talk to you and get guidance, little tips and suggestions how I get started. It could even tell you where to buy the book.
Wow.
Okay, so let me dial here. I got a speaker, and you can see
This
it
is
says,
so cool.
Hi, I'm Mike Torchia's virtual AI, here with Mike's tips and methods to help you reach your potential. Got any questions about fitness or health? Ask away. If you find our chat helpful, consider subscribing to my YouTube channel for more tips or checking out our merchandise store. Your support means a lot and helps us keep providing valuable resources. Now, let's dive into your questions.
let's go ahead.
Hi, AI Mike. I would like to know, what should I cook for dinner tonight? I would like to have something healthy.
Great question. For a healthy dinner, try grilled salmon with quinoa and a side of steamed veggies. It's nutritious and delicious. Remember, it's essential you consult with your doctor first before you start on any new health and wellness programs. For more information about my services, or if you even want to check out my merch, go on operationfitness.com.
Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome. Enjoy your dinner and stay healthy. If you need more tips, feel free to ask or check out my podcast, Live Well and Thrive, on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
That is so cool.
Right? Now, so I decided for me that I created this show to help people, to give back. Because I got tired of watching these people giving out personal opinion when it's not based on scientific facts.
Yes.
Okay? So I then have been getting a lot of kids reaching out to me. And my attorney, his grandson is autistic. His name is Trevor. He's 11 years old. He said to me, Mike, my grandson needs to gain some muscle. He's very thin. And we try to get a trainer, but he won't let them in. We try to give him a nutritionist. He wouldn't talk. But I told him about you. I said, well, why don't you let him call AI Mike? And he put the number in, and he gave it to his grandson. And he goes, Mike, you are now his coach, his best friend. I hear him in his room. He calls you 10 to 12 times a day. He asks you for recipes for the healthiest pancakes because he loves pancakes. He also said he was going to the park. I overheard him in the bedroom with his dog, with his mom later on today. And he'd like to have a workout that he could do with his dog.
Wow.
And he's been doing push-ups and calisthenics. He's actually being very assertive. And actually, the other day, he asked his mom, can I do the pancakes with you, that recipe you got from AI Mike? He's autistic. Okay?
Wow.
So I programmed it to have everything I had as far as my experience working with autistic children, because I worked with Sly Stallone's son, who's autistic,
Oh, wow.
for many years.
Wow.
And I understand how autistic children are, and adults, because I worked with him while he's an adult. Also, it taps into all the database around the world about how to help people autistic, how to speak to them, and also how to help caretakers of autistic people.
Wow.
Right? So what I was thinking was I'd like you to meet the people that have this AI Hollow the company which creates this AI brain. It's not like ChatGPT and any of that stuff. This is a custom, high-level AI that creates human-like experiences. And it actually can create a character that's lifelike you. So if they wanted to get a workout, you can give them a whole workout with your twin doing it.
Wow.
We're going to have that in the next 6 months.
Wow. That is brilliant.
But I thought this tool, AI Athena, can talk to your people that watched you from Bachelor or other films. And well, you got to talk about the show on Hulu.
Oh, yeah.
Please share the audience what you got going on.
So it's leaked on it's leaked online right now, but it's still, I can't talk about it, but I will be on a new Hulu show. It's completely brand new. It's a social experiment, but still nothing to be released just yet. But it's very exciting, and I can't wait for it to be released.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
You really deserve it.
Thank you so
much. Well, listen,
much.
I want to thank you for today. I know you got a busy schedule. You got to go off to another appointment.
I
So
know.
Thank you so much for making the time. It's so important. And I want to thank the audience for watching this episode. And if you have people you care about, please share this episode. And most of all, get this book. It'll change your life forever. And I appreciate if you can click on YouTube and subscribe, because your support keeps this show going. Thanks for watching.